The lack of goals from the forwards at Manchester United is becoming a matter of serious concern. Many people have given up on Rasmus Højlund, saying United need to sign a striker before anyone else. But with this boy getting himself in good positions like we saw against Real Sociedad, what exactly should Ruben Amorim do to Højlund? Subscribe to the United of Sport and join me as we get deep into this goal scoring talk concerning our number 9. Now, listen, guys. 4-1 was a very interesting result for Manchester United. Not a flattering result, if you ask me. I thought we played good enough to win that game by 4-1. In fact, had Rasmus Højlund been more clinical, had he been more confident as a number 9, United could have beaten Real Sociedad by probably 7 or 8 goals to 1. Yeah, that's it. The chances are being created, a plenty of them we see lately against Arsenal, against Real Sociedad again in the reverse fixture in Spain. United is getting there. The team is flowing and you love to see it. But listen, if United is going to compete for anything, we need a number 9 we can rely on to score goals. Now, Højlund has struggled. We know his goal drought has gone on for way so long that understandably most people will lose hope in a striker like that. But if you look at how Højlund has been getting himself in good positions in the past 2 games, and the impact, if we judge him by the last game, the impact he had on the game, winning a penalty, then assisting for Diogo Dalot beautifully, then getting at the end of balls, making the right runs, always arriving at the right time, you get a feeling that perhaps if you've paid for such a player 72 million quid just 2 summers ago, do you just let go of them and give up on them just like that? He's only 21, I think going 22. Do you just give up on such a player? Because, and again, let me give you a scenario. Assuming Rasmus Højlund scores, because I know he's going to start the game tomorrow against Leicester City, assuming he scores a brace, then goes on a good run until the end of the season, scoring games, because you do recall, after so many games of no scoring in the Premier League, Højlund went, I think, on a 7-game scoring spree. Assuming Højlund does the same, keeps himself fit, and we definitely know if he keeps himself getting the positions he's getting into, getting the chances from his teammates the way he's getting them, certainly he will score. Now, assuming he goes on a run, scoring, let's say, in 5 consecutive games or 7 consecutive games, because he has done it before, what then do we do? At the end of the season, in the summer, do we still give up on him and say he's not good enough, he should leave? So for me, I think what we are all advocating for before was Højlund becoming better, an improvement, and not only in him, but in the rest of the team. I feel like after the Sir Jim Ratcliffe interview, these players are psyched up, and even before it anyway. But I feel like Højlund seems to be improving every day, that and even the entire team is creating more chances for him, that I sort of feel like he deserves a bit of time, because the pressure is easing on him. We want to see what he can do. If he scores the goals for me, there is no reason why we should go on the market and sign a new striker, a new number 9. When we have Chido Obi, when we have Ethan Whitley signing a new contract, we've got these young players who can be behind Højlund and perhaps, grow with him, because we are in a rebuilding phase. So, whereas I'm not saying it's done yet, he has not scored the goals again yet, but we need to have that open mind and say, we can tolerate Højlund, if that's the word. We can stick with Højlund a little bit, because he could start scoring, and when that happens, we know he can go on a run, because the entire team is improving. So instead of looking like we're taking things personal, I think for me, that's a more mature way of approaching a young player who certainly was bought for 72 million quid because of the immense potential he has got, the huge potential he has got. So, whereas people, and of course, a lot of people get in my inbox and they will feel, and again, even I'm not happy about his run, but football is not an event. I mean, also football is full of ups and downs. We know all players get into these situations. We've seen the best players, better strikers than Højlund, get into a dry spell. Dry spells are part of the game. Andy Cole, who is one of the best strikers in the history of the Premier League, also had a dry spell. So dry spells do happen, but at least if a player at some point gets to improve, and you see the entire team is improving, and even his teammates are beginning to believe in him, and he's getting there, if you sign them for a lot of money, if you're Man United, who don't have a lot of money to spend, after understanding the situation the club is in, for me, I'll tell you, and I've not yet given up completely on Højlund. Before, it was clear pressure on him. I think now he has got Chido Obi who can lift the pressure off him, who he can learn from. Chido is younger than Højlund, but Chido is a natural goal scorer than him because of the movements clearly we see him make, the few minutes we've seen him on the pitch. So for me, I think we can first be silent and watch. We can be silent and watch. I was seeing people who were attacking Højlund for not scoring, barring any of the chances he had. But it's a process. The boy has been struggling to get confident. He has been struggling with movements, to know when to where to be. The team has changed a bit how they play. It has worked in his favor, and that's why he's improving. Why then aren't we giving him the time to get the confidence to be able to bar a chance? For me, I don't want to be that fan. I think, like I said, going forward, I want to be as realistic as I can, but also as positive as I can. I think if I see positives in Højlund's game, I want to commend them, because this is a boy who in his first season scored 17 goals, guys, for Manchester United in his first season. It's not an easy feat. So I've not completely given up on Rasmus Højlund. I don't think any one of us should give up on him. Let's see where it ends. If it goes on and on and on, and we see him sliding back, getting in wrong positions, falling a lot, being wasteful, if we see the same thing happen, then we can go back and say, you know what, maybe that's it. But I think Højlund has given us reason to believe and be patient with him. But also, we know that in Chido Obi, we've got a player who can keep switching with Højlund and ease the pressure on him as we grow into, of course, the team that we are trying to be. The whole team is improving. The coach is improving. Players are being used better. Guys, we can be a little patient. We've been through the worst. I think we can be a little more patient with these players, because one thing I've realized is that we've got some potentially good players that we don't want to give up on so early. We're almost entirely giving up on Joshua Zirkzee at some point. Currently, Zirkzee looks like a little positive spark in this team. He looks like he can be better. We are beginning to see a semblance of the Zirkzee who was compared to Ronaldinho by his former coach, Thiago Motta. So I think, I think for me, I've learned, I think, over time to, yes, whereas I'm a fan, and this is a fan channel, I speak here not as just as an analyst per se, but as a fan as well of Man United. I think at times we get carried away by the emotions because, the striker is not scoring and Isak is barring chances for fun. But if we think about it critically and be as realistic as we can, we properly know and see that indeed there is improvement in the entire team. There is improvement in certain individuals. The way we have been patient with Garnacho, who for a long time was selfish, not passing balls, but when he was on the verge of being sold in the last window, people were crying and saying, we can't sell him, he's only 20. He's just 1 year or 2 years younger than Højlund. He has even played more games for Man United than Højlund. So why do we completely give up on a Højlund who scored 17 goals in his first season? But now he had a dry spell, understandably. Now he's beginning to pick up, but people have already given up on him, yet they felt they did not give up on Garnacho. I think that's a bit, being selfish and unfair. Let's be fair. The reality is these individual players are improving. Let's give them the chance. The way we've all given a second chance or a third chance to Casemiro, the way we gave another chance to Harry Maguire, I think Højlund as well needs that chance from all of us. So let's be those supporters who do not just attack and attack and attack, but we acknowledge and credit good when we see it. And indeed, the past games have shown us good from Rasmus Højlund, and that's reason enough for us to be patient with him. What do you think? Subscribe to the United of Sport and let me know in the comment section whether you've completely given up on Rasmus Højlund. Catch you later, fam. Peace, love, and harmony.